So if you're trying to find angle A to begin, what would the 45 is opposite the right angle, which makes it your what? Hypotenuse. What is the 32? Is it right next to A or is it opposite from A? It's adjacent. Good. So what trig ratio uses A and H? Cosine. So the measure of angle A is the inverse cosine of 32 over 45. All right, go ahead and type that in. Inverse cosine 32 over 45, and I get 44.675 degrees. Anybody else get that? All right, so now to find B, you have two options. Because 32 is opposite from B, you could do inverse sine. All right, so for B, you can do the inverse sine of 32 over 45. Again, because 32 is opposite, or the easier way is just to do triangle sum. B is going to equal 180 minus the 90 minus 44.675. And when you do that, 90 minus, you should get 45.325. Any questions? All right, let's go to our notes. And we are on page, yes.
So, with this equation, we didn't have an angle, so we had to find an angle, right?
Right.
And that's why we have to use
The inverse.
the inverse.
Right.
But with the other one, if it has an angle, we don't have to use it.
Right. So anytime it says find angle, that's inverse. Yeah. You're welcome. All right, let's go to page 6. And we're going to talk about bearings, which is a special type of angle. All right, a bearing is defined as an angle that is with the due north. All right, so let me go ahead and draw a right triangle here. A bearing is with the vertical. So bearing, I want you to think with vertical axis. All right, when we're talking about an angle of elevation or an angle of depression, let me go ahead and redraw the same right triangle. That's with the horizontal. So this would be an angle of elevation, and the one at the top is a bearing. So it's really important that you can differentiate where we are looking for the angle. You also, when you're given a bearing, when it's asking for a bearing, you have to include the directions to travel back. So whenever we're talking about a bearing, we're going to be talking about an airplane, a ship, and we have to include when the airplane goes back to the port, what direction is it flying back? Or if a ship is going back to the port, what direction is it sailing back? All right, but I think you'll find this also pretty simple. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is this, page 6? All right, so let's look at number 1. So I don't know, am I the only one that uses the acronym Never Eat Soggy Waffles to remember north, east, south? Have you guys heard of that before? Okay. I'm really bad at directions personally. If somebody were to say go 15 miles east and then make a left going south, I'd be like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know. But never eat soggy waffles. All right. So we got a plane. The plane is 80 miles. So we got Cleveland. So this is Cleveland. And that plane went 80 miles south. And then it made a right turn. And it started heading east, which is this direction. All right, what bearing should it take to fly directly back? So this is my plane. I know, don't make fun of my plane, but that's my plane. If it's going to head back, but you have to remember, a bearing would not be this angle that we're trying to find. It would be this angle. All right, this is the angle I'm trying to find at the top. Find the angle next to Cleveland. Cleveland is always on first 48. I don't recommend going there. All right, so right here, 95 is it opposite, adjacent, or the hypotenuse? 85 is adjacent. So to find your bearing, which we'll call theta, it would be the inverse tangent, because I'm looking for an angle, of opposite over adjacent. And it is really important that you put the opposite, 95, in the numerator and adjacent in your denominator. Okay, so I got 49.899 degrees. Anybody else get that when you typed it in? All right, so let's put that for my answer. But remember, a bearing, you have to include the direction the airplane would travel if it was going back to Cleveland. So what direction is the plane traveling when it heads back? Southwest. It's the opposite. No, not southwest. Yeah, southwest, sorry. I put northwest. I put it wrong. You're right though. It's south. No, it's not south. It's going south and it's going east. What's the opposite of south and the opposite of east? Okay. Did y'all say that already? Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm old. All right, so that is the answer. You have to include that only when it asks for a bearing. You don't need to include that for angles of elevation or depression, just for bearings. All right, let's look at number 2. So we got a ship. And it went 12 miles to the west. Oops, I got to bring it down. 12 miles to the west. And then it made a turn. So this was the port. So it left the port. It went 12 miles west. And then it turned and headed north, which is up 20 miles. So this is my ship. It's my boat right here. It's going to head on back. This is the bearing. Go ahead and find your bearing. So it would be, again, an inverse tangent. And it would be, would it be 12 over 20 or 20 over 12? 12 over 20, good. Go ahead and type that in. 12 is opposite the bearing. 20 is adjacent to the bearing. This is my bearing right here. So when I type that in, I got, and you got to hit the green key first, and then you have to hit tangent. I forgot to tell you that. Hit the green key first, and then hit tangent to get the angle. So I got 30.964 degrees. Anybody else get that? Okay. What direction will the ship travel to go back to the port? Southwest? East. Did you say east? I'm getting old, y'all. For real though, I do feel like I'm losing my hearing in this area. For real, like I'm not even playing. All right, let's look at number 3. All right, now we're talking about an angle of depression. So when you see angle of depression, I want you to think upside down triangle, all right? So we got our never eat soggy waffles. This time it's traveling 30 miles northeast. So that means it's traveling this direction. All right, in between the north and the east. So it's going this direction, 30 miles. This is my plane. And this is the port. So this time it gave me an angle of depression. So I'm going to draw my triangle. That means my angle is not next to the port. Oh, wait, why did I put the right angle down there? That means that my angle that I'm looking for is not next to the port, but it's the angle of depression is next to the airplane. So we have 32.5. Okay. So it's asking you to find the altitude, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term, but it means height. So that's this side. Altitude is height. That might be a word you encounter on the test. So anytime we talk about an altitude, it is the height. And when you think about height, height is vertical. So this side is a vertical and this side is horizontal. So if I'm talking about height, when you measure your height at the doctor, they have you stand up straight and lean against a little ruler. So we got to figure out, let me go ahead and put that 30 on the outside. The hypotenuse is 30. And we're trying to find x. Is x opposite or adjacent to the 32.5? Opposite. So we got our opposite and we have our hypotenuse. So let's set it up. Sine of 32.5 is opposite over hypotenuse. We're not doing the inverse because we're not trying to find an angle. We're trying to find a height. Height is not an angle. So x equals 30 times the sine of 32.5. Do we have to include directions like southeast, northwest? Nope, because we're not looking for a bearing. We're not looking for an angle. So the answer I got was 16.119 miles. This is a long time ago. Make sure it's right when you type it in. All right, what you thinking so far? Not bad? Before I forget, homework 13. you can cut out number 64. You do not need to do number 64. The rest of the homework is straightforward, nothing tricky, but 64 is a little bit too tricky. We'll go over that one together. So don't worry about number 64, homework 16. I think I have it highlighted in yellow because it is a little bit tricky. All right, now let's go to number 4, which I gave you a lot of space for a reason, because we got a lot of steps to do number 4. Now this one looks a lot like your test though. Okay, we gotta do a little bit of thinking, just a little bit. So we got a plane, it's flying at a constant altitude of 30,500 meters. Somebody saw it, and the first time they saw it, this is important, angle of elevation was 63.6. I'm going to make a triangle. I'm going to make it go the other way though. No reason why. So height of the plane, this is my airplane in the sky. Angle of elevation is 63.6. And the height is 30,500 meters. All right, so we're going to find the speed eventually. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the formula for speed. Does anybody know the formula for speed? What is on my pants? Okay, Toby, you paid attention. Tell your science teacher. The formula for speed is distance over time. So I need to find the distance. So I want you to go ahead and find x. So keep that in your little toolbox. We're going to have to take distance over time. Kimberly, you okay? Girl, sit on up. Put your head up off that desk. I don't know what you think this is. If I can't sleep, you can't sleep. You think I want to be here right now? No. We suffering together. Go ahead and find x. So what's my trig ratio? What are you using? Sine, cosine, or tangent to find distance? What did you use, Aaliyah? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Tangent. I agree, because we're trying to find adjacent, and we know the opposite. So we're going to take the tangent of 63.6. That's going to equal 30,500 divided by x. Go ahead, cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, you're going to have x times the tangent of 63.6 equals 30,500. Then you're going to divide by the tangent of 63.6. So pick up your calculator. Take 30,500 and divide that by and see what you get. So what I got for my very first distance, this is not my answer, but I got x was 15,140.331. Is that what you all got? All right, but then we have a second triangle. All right, notice that it says after 33 seconds, which is the T, that's the time in our formula, distance over time. After 33 seconds, the angle of elevation changed to 56.1. So I'm going to make a second triangle. The height of the triangle didn't change. That's still 30,500. But now we're trying to find a new distance, which is y. And my angle of elevation is now 56.1. Go ahead and solve that for y. Just like x. Okay. We're just changing the angle of elevation. Same step. It's still going to be 30,500, but this time you're dividing it by the tangent of 56.1. So we got tangent 56.1 equals 30,500 over y. And y is going to equal 30,500 divided by the tangent of 56.1. So, Janaya, what did you get for y? 20,495. What else? 149. Anybody else get that? Okay. So now we need to figure out, we got two different distances. How do I figure out how far the plane traveled in 33 seconds? I got my first distance and I got my second distance. What do you think we're going to do with those numbers? Subtract them. Good. So step 3, to find your distance. Distance will equal 20,495.149 minus the 15,140.331. Almost to the finish line. All right, so when I subtracted that, I got 5,354.818 miles. All right, and Toby at the very beginning told us that speed equals distance divided by time. So what you're going to do is take your distance. And what was the time? How many seconds passed? 33. And that would be your speed. So this question, I guess, goes from a an algebra question or geometry to a pre-calc because you gotta do multiple steps. Now, there is a question on the test that is a multi-step. And when I did that, I got that the speed was 162.267. And then my unit is meters because your distance is meters over seconds. Okay. So we're gonna skip over 5. I want you all to try to do 6 by yourself. When you get an answer, raise your hand and I will tell you if it's right. Throw away the unit circles. Oh my God, that's so sad. Okay, when you get an answer, raise your hand. Let me see the answer. Okay, got it. Sounds good. Yeah, so it's opposite. So the plane went north and west. So that means heading back is gonna go west. Yeah, has to go opposite of directions it flew. You can't take the cosine of the hypotenuse has to be the longest side. So that definitely can't be the numerator. Alrighty. Come on, 6th period. I'm believing in y'all. We can make a comeback. Don't let the other classes look down on you. You guys can do it. Can. All right. So the airplane, I know it's kind of cut off a little bit. Oh, wait, we skipped that one. All right, so it says a plane traveled 65 miles north, and then it made a turn. Oh, wait. So it went 65 miles north. And then it made a turn and did 45 miles west. When it heads back, so this is the plane and this is the port. Here is my 90. Where am I putting the bearing? The red or the green? Where is the bearing? So, Makara, what did you pick? Red or green? You got 50-50 shot. It is green. That was a lucky guess. See, you got it. It's always with the vertical. So, I don't know if you all know what I mean when I say vertical. Because a triangle, we have this side and we have this side. Which line is vertical? It's the green. So that's my angle. So to find that angle, I'm taking the inverse tan. Oh, you put cosine, Daniel. That's what the problem was. It's not cosine. It's tangent. So it's opposite over adjacent. So would that be 45 over 65 or 65 over 40? All right, and that, when you type it in, what did I get? 34.964. It's kind of close to the other one, a little bit. And what direction are we heading back? South and east. Yep, 0.964. Oh, it's 6.5? So did I write it backwards? Oh, I'm looking at number. I'm looking at number 7, y'all. I know y'all like, what is wrong with you, Miss Brain? I don't know. I just need it to be spring break. That's what's wrong with me. I'm looking at number 7. Okay, so we're going to end there for today. It is my recommendation, 6 period, that you do your homework. Okay, it is due tomorrow. Homework is practice for the test.